Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the internet, good morning to you. Happy Friday. Here we are, guys. Kyle Evans coming to you, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Maps coach, bold coach, all the things for the G.R.O.W show for your daily checkup from the neck up. To my parents out there, it's been a week. A lot of us starting school, getting our kids back in action, and you know the fascinating challenges that brings with you on top of navigating an amazing real estate market. Guys, today we are going to put an exclamation point. We're going to put an ending. We're going to put a bookend on our series this week built for this. Today, my title is simply, You Can Do This. When we think about it, man, when we think about all the things we've discussed and all the things that we've gone through and grown through, where's your mindset on it? Because by now, a lot of us have heard it all week long. The scars, the pivots, the distance, the boring repetition. Today, though, we're not really going to talk about tactics. Today, we're going to talk about you. Surprise. Like, why are you still here? Why you're still swinging? Why after every no, after every setback, after every sleepless night, sitting there in thought, wondering if you're doing the right thing, wondering if it's all worth it, wondering if it's going to pay off, wondering if you did enough, and then you keep showing up. I got news for you. It's because you were built for it. Believe it or not, you were. And I'm not here trying to convince you of that. I want you to understand, I'm here to remind you of it. Because I assure you, I know without a shadow of a doubt, there's already proof in your life if you're just simply willing to look back and see it. Because we've all carried weight. In one way or another, we've all carried weight. It's the truth. More often than not, in my travels around this nation and my talks with top entrepreneurs around the United States, is a lot of people, they've carried far more than they give themselves credit for. Whether in business or in life, more often than not, it's in life. I want you to acknowledge the invisible load. And maybe instead of thinking it as a negative, I challenge you today to think of it as a positive. Think of it as a call of your strength and not something bad you had to do, like a late night negotiation while your kids are sitting there waiting for bedtime stories. Or maybe that sick feeling that you had when a deal that you were counting on falls apart 24 hours before closing, and you're still standing there having to call the client and give them the bad news. Maybe it's like the conversations I've been having sometimes lately. It's the ache in your chest when your entire month's pipeline is gone. The pipeline is gone, but the bills keep coming. Maybe it's the pressure of being the one everyone in your household is silently counting on. Some people out there, you're carrying 2 jobs, you're carrying 3 jobs. Some people out there, your real estate business is so much to hold right now, and you're also holding the emotional weight of your client's biggest financial decisions, and then you're holding the emotional weight of yourself, maybe your family, and it feels like a lot. Give yourself credit for that. A lot of today is going to be about shifting our mindset in the story that we're telling ourselves. Because here's the truth, guys. You're stronger than you give yourself credit for. I have to remind myself of this. Like, I'm not sitting here riding my unicorn across the sun telling you guys, buck up, buttercup, it's going to be okay. Like, I'm with you. I wrestle with these things as well. How many times have you sat there and said, man, should I burn it all down? I've made this joke a million times. I'm saying, man, I should have just been a dentist. Like, this is tough. Being an entrepreneur is difficult. It requires grit. A study in the Journal of Positive Psychology found that people who connect their work to a clear sense of meaning report higher resilience, higher grit, faster recovery from setbacks, greater long-term satisfaction. When I say you're stronger than you know, you're stronger than you give yourself credit for, maybe, just maybe, you should be connecting that to your work. Hey, I'm built for this. Hey, I don't wish it was easier. I wish I was a little stronger. Hey, you know what? I am strong. I am gritty. The meaning reframes the weight from burden to calling. Maybe, just maybe, if you said, I am built for this and I know what I'm working for and I know that it's all going to be worth it and here's where I'm going, it gets a little lighter. I didn't say it goes away. I said it gets a little lighter. There's a great story of an agent, very successful, and he would just make his calls every day, sit at his desk, make his calls every day, and he would have his goals in a picture frame right next to him. And whenever he felt like not doing the thing, or he had a tough call or a challenging conversation, he would literally physically touch his goals. Why? To help reframe the weight. When you stop seeing yourself as someone who sells houses or just a small business owner and you start owning the role of a trusted guide, helping people, changing their lives, helping them with their decision makings, walking them through transitions of life, the hard days become part of the mission. Not just proof that you should quit. It says, hey, this is part of it. I know where I'm going, and I'm taking the time to give myself credit for it. I'm taking the time to understand the importance or the service that I'm providing to people in need. That's a calling, not a burden. The truth of the matter, unfortunately, I wish it was different, but it's not, is the market doesn't owe you anything. Business doesn't owe you anything. Society doesn't owe you anything. What are you going to do about it? If we think about this call of ownership, understanding that no one owes us anything and no one's coming to save us, and our results are our own, and we're going to own where we're going, how we're getting there, whether it's in business, our life, our relationships, our wealth, our spiritual walk, our health. You've got to wrap your arms around that bear and say, I'm not letting go. Winston Churchill in World War II, he said, hey, man, if you're going through hell, keep going. He didn't say, wait until the war is over. He meant we got to lead through it. Look at the storm, stare it in its eye, and say, do your worst, for I shall do mine. Real estate in 2025? Yeah, I get it. It's not a war, but it's a fight. It's a fight for relevance, for trust, for surviving. Yay, nay, thriving. But at first, if we're going to do that, we've got to accept the weight. I'm not asking you to like it. These conversations I'm having with people that I'm coaching, mentoring, is I'm not saying you have to like the burden of circumstance. I'm saying you got to accept it. You got to come to peace with it. It's hard by design. If it were easy, everyone would do it. If it were easy, the reward would be smaller. You got to accept the weight. Then you got to anchor the why. Write it down. Keep it in your phone. Make it your lock screen. Tape it to your mirror. Put it in your car. Say it until it feels real again. Accept the weight, anchor the why, and then act like the pro you say you are. Ladies and gentlemen, don't just talk about it, be about it. Pros don't wait for the feeling to show up. They do the work because it's who they are. You know what? I'm going to change that because I feel like saying who they are gives us an excuse to not do it. Well, that's just not me. No, it's who they choose to be. That's better language. Accept the weight, anchor the why, and act like the pro you say you are. Act like the pro you say you choose to be. When we're going through this life, when we're going through this business, when we're going through these moments, you got to take the tough conversations head on instead of avoiding them. Cody Gibson told me the best line ever. It lives rent free in my head. Said bad news doesn't age well. It just gets worse. It gets heavier, gets more convoluted. When I talk about anchoring the why, before you get into the hard, the grittiness, remind yourself of the kids you're putting through school, maybe the community impact you're having, maybe the freedom you're building for your family. Maybe it's retiring your parents or a spouse, dream vacation, living the life that you desire. Anchor the why. Fill your tank with gas. Act like the pro. Show up in the market with confidence, even when you feel like an underdog. Heck, I like playing the underdog. That puts a chip on my shoulder. It makes me show up with more confidence, something to prove. We got to be grittier, ladies and gentlemen. You're built for this. Gary Keller says this in the MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. He says, everyone can do it, not everyone will. Will you? Everyone can do it. Will you? Angela Duckworth wrote a great book on this called Grit. And she studied the grittiness of individuals, and she called it one of the number one predictors of success. They had a simple test called a grit scale, and you rate yourself on a series of items. It's like 10, something like that, 15 questions. Something like, I overcome setbacks. Setbacks don't discourage me. Like, and you rate yourself. It's self-reported. Okay. So I want you to understand this. Self-reported. The other people get to say and judge themselves on the questions. The wild thing is, at the end, you get a score. The score is highly predictive of achievement under challenging circumstances. For instance, she went and studied West Point, and a cadet's grit score was the best predictor of success in their rigorous training program called Beast Barracks. Cool, Kyle. That's the military. They're different. They're built different. Okay, great. Hear you. She did it for the same thing for the National Spelling Bee. Kids, the grittiest contestants, the ones with the highest self-reported grit score, answering the questions with the mindset that they have, were the most likely to advance to the finals. What are you telling yourself, ladies and gentlemen? How are you framing these things? When I tell you today that you can do it, and I say we're not talking a bunch of tactics, I'm talking about your mind. Accept the weight. Give yourself credit that you've been carrying the weight. Understand that you are stronger and you have gone through more things than you give yourself credit for. It's not about potential, it's about precedent. The things that you've already gone through. What I will challenge you to do, what I'll invite you to do is today, this weekend, write down 5 of the hardest moments that you've faced. Business, life, health, whatever. 5. What are the 5 hardest moments that you have gone through? I want you to be real. Like, this is your time to vent a little bit, you know? This went through this, like almost complain, but not complaining. What are the hardest, worst things that you've gone through? Write them down. You see a lot of people say like, "Oh, focus on the great stuff." For now, I want you to focus on the hardest things. Write them down. Name them. But here's the kicker. Here's the trick. Next to each one, I want you to write the strength that came from it. What you learned, the habit, the skill, the resilience, or simply just the fact that you made it through it. Then I want you to read it back to yourself until you can't help but realize and understand what I understand. You've already been through hell. You've already been through hard. You've already done things that broke you, that hurt you, that caused you sadness or depression or defeat or failure. And you're still here. You're still swinging. There's still breath in your lungs and a beat in your heart. It means you have an opportunity. It means you went through it. It means that you can handle hard. God bless. My brother, my twin, we have a health challenge coming up in November. And he texted me and he said, "Man, this is going to be a bear." This is going to be so much harder than I originally pictured the more research I do. And then before I had to say anything to challenge his mindset, he sent a follow-up message and it said, "Good thing we do hard things. It's a good thing that we do hard things." Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's a good thing that you have done hard things, that you can do hard things, that you have been through hard things. It's a blessing. Because what I know in my heart of hearts is that you are built for this and that you can do this and that you have done hard things. But I want you to step into that. I want you to own it. I want you to think back on it not as a negative thing, not as a bad chapter, not as something that took you to your knees. I want you to look back on it as something that you were strong enough to get through. Because you are. The secret, the magic pill, the thing that we're all looking to make it easier, it's already inside of you. It's already there. My kids used to love a movie called Kung Fu Panda. And in Kung Fu Panda, he spends half the movie, the whole movie, trying to get this thing, this dragon scroll, understand his dad's secret ingredient. And the secret ingredient was always him. It's just you. The secret ingredient is you. But I need you to take a step back and understand that. I need you to take a step back and realize that the world breaks everyone. And afterward, many are strong at the broken places. Ernest Hemingway said that. The world breaks everyone, and afterward, many are strong at the broken places. That's you. Your scars are not signs of weakness, they're reinforced steel. My desire for you today, this weekend, is use your proof for your positioning in this next chapter, this next week. Use the proof. My commission to you, the listener, the audience, is this week, this past week, we talked about scars, pivots, going the distance, doing the boring things that make you great. But all of that is just the training ground for the truth. You are already built for this, not because you've had it easy, but because you haven't. Not because the market is perfect, but because it isn't. Not because you've never been knocked down, but because every time you were, you got back up. And you can tell me that's not the case, but the fact that you're here says that you have. Stop waiting for things to get easier. It's not supposed to be. Stop hoping that conditions will line up perfect, because I got news for you. They rarely will. The scars, they were training. The pivots, they were preparation. The distance, it was simply conditioning. The boring was building your muscle. You're ready. You're here. You're built for this. You've proven it. Now go and prove it again. This is not potential. It's precedent. I love you. I mean it. Happy Friday. Go prove what you've already proven. Let's do it again.